In this video, I'm going to be showing you one method to do a green-on-green extraction using Easy Green Screen 8. This is one of my favorite methods. There's a few different methods, but I really like this method. This is very intuitive, quick, and easy. It's not one click, but it's really easy to do. So you can do this either in batch process in a semi-automated batch, or you can do it when you're just extracting one image at a time, which I'll demonstrate both methods. So right now I'm viewing this image is against transparency here, but if I want to view the transparency against like gray, for instance, I can use this mask checker plugin, which just changes how Photoshop displays transparency. I like using this because it makes it easy to see what I'm doing here. Now, what you want to do is load up the Touch-Up Editing Helper panel. And under the Plugins menu, that'll be installed with Easy Green Screen 8. And this is just an additional panel for doing touch-ups to your images after you've extracted. You'll use this Select Subject Cloud or Select Subject Device button, but I suggest using the Cloud option, which you'll need internet to do. If you're not connected to the internet, it'll default to device when you run it. But the Select Subject Cloud is usually more accurate. So this runs Select Subject in Photoshop, but it does more than just that. It also selects the mask on this original image layer. We've got a layer with the original image on top, but it's transparent by default because the mask is solid black. So anywhere we paint white will bring back the foreground. So it selects the mask for us. It also selects the brush tool and it sets your brush to white. So all you need to do is come in at this point and just paint. And you may need to go in and select which brush you're using. I like to use just a round brush with a hardness of 100% here. And I like to use 100% that way because you're painting over the edges anyway and you're really not feathering anything in this. But the reason why I like to paint at 100% brush is that way it's not going to have any effect outside of the edges of the brush. So for example, I'll show you what happens is if we paint in areas that are not supposed to be green. Like I'm going to paint over this arm here. You see if we're sloppy with where we paint with the brush, where I've painted, we've brought back that spill in that arm, which we don't want that green spill. So if I Control Z to undo that and show you, that's because we're in this original image layer, which doesn't have any spill correction because this is the original image on top. The spill correction is down here above the main foreground layer. So hope that makes sense. So around those areas, we just use a smaller brush. Make sure we don't paint over the skin or the clothing. I mean, it's really easy. I probably talked a lot longer than it would actually take me if I was doing this just on my own. That would have been about a 5-second job. But then the same thing up in this bow where this was green. But what you'll notice here is if I start painting, it's not recovering some of the area of the bow. And that's because Select Subject thought that was part of the background. So when that happens, you just unselect. And then you can paint that back in. But now you got to be careful because there's no selection made. So if you paint over the edge, then that selection is not protecting you from painting the background back in. Whereas we were painting the pom-pom with that selection, we could go over the edge of that selection. But usually Select Subject is pretty good about it. But in some cases like this, which is the reason I'm showing an image like this in particular, where I know it's going to have some things that we need to deselect for, just to know to watch for that. But really, you can do this in like 15 or 20 seconds. Most images, it's very quick. All right, so I'm going to show you now how to at least do a semi-automated batch to do this. So we'll go into the batch processing and let me find the folder here if I remember where I Put that here. Okay, so what you're going to do if you're running a batch in the batch mode, you're going to select extract plus edit. Now, if you have only some images that are green on green, you don't have to select this run select subject before pause. This is optional. This run select subject before pause, that's going to run this select subject cloud the same as if we had pushed the button in this helper panel. So if you don't check it here, when it pauses, if you have green on green, you can just click it here in this panel to run it. Or if you check it on here, it's going to do that for every image. So if every image you know you're going to need to run it, just check it here. If not, leave it unchecked and just run this as needed as each image pops up. So I'm just going to hit run green screen batch here. And so now that this is ready, it's selected the brush for us already, and it's selected the layer and set the brush to white. So all we have to do now is paint. And just being careful not to go over those edges of the skin. Control D, by the way, is the deselect button. So if I know I have to deselect there. So if you have to do hundreds of these, it might not be fun, but if you have to do 10 or something, it's really not too bad. Okay, I'm going to hit save and continue. It's going to pop the next one up, go through the same routine. I could have used the clear area outside screen to get rid of this, but I didn't. In any case, that's not what this video was for anyway. But again, just very quickly. And I know people have told me they spent like 30 minutes trying to touch these kind of images up, which I don't really understand why it would take that long. But in any case, this is pretty simple here. Control D to deselect. For some reason, select subject just really does not like these bows, but all right, I've got 4 images in here. I may as well just finish the last 2 while you're watching, just to show you that you can bust through these images pretty quickly. Let's see if select subject actually selected a bow. Nope. It yeah, I don't know. Don't know why select subject doesn't like these bows. And that is why I don't have select subject as a selection method, a main selection method for Easy Green Screen, because for green screen images, it just does not do a great job all the time with these things that are not part of the people, like pom-poms or bows or sporting equipment. Select subject just doesn't do a great job at being perfect all the time. So like in here, you can see where select subject, for whatever reason, thought that part of the pom-pom was part of the background. No worries, Control D to deselect. We'll get that little piece there. No bow in this image. So, and one trick too is if you're using this mask checker plugin, this high vis magenta, if you're doing work like this, is actually probably better, because if you miss anything, like I just did right there, that high-vis magenta makes it really, really easy to see if you miss something. But in any case, I just did 4 images. I don't know how long that actually took me. Probably a lot longer than if I wasn't talking, but you can see how this isn't really too bad. Now I do have an action that I will be releasing sometime in the near future that you'll be able to run in batch as well. That should help even make this more automated than what you saw in this video. So when that comes out, make sure to check that video out as well. Thanks for watching.